woman dreams of true love, but what if the man you're about to marry has dark secrets that could destroy your life forever? This is not just a story, it's a warning. Watch this before you say yes to any man. The birthday party was lively, with music, laughter, and people moving from table to table. Vanessa stood with her friends when she noticed him. Richard. Tall, handsome, dressed in a neat suit. He carried himself with confidence, the kind that made people want to listen. He walked straight to her with a smile. "Good evening," he said, offering his hand. "We haven't met before, and I would never forget a face like yours." Vanessa smiled shyly, surprised by how natural he sounded. From that night, Richard became part of her world. He sent flowers to her office, planned surprise dinners, and called her every evening just to hear her voice. Her friends teased her whenever they met. "Vanessa, you found your husband oh. See how you're glowing. This is true love." Vanessa would laugh and shake her head, but inside she felt happy. Maybe, just maybe, they were right. But one person wasn't convinced. One evening, while watching a movie together, her cousin Isabel turned to her. "Vanessa, I don't trust this Richard," Isabel whispered. Vanessa frowned. "Why? Has he done anything wrong?" Isabel shook her head slowly. "No, and that's the problem. He seems too perfect. Men like that usually have secrets." Vanessa chuckled and waved it off. "Isabel, please. What woman doesn't want a man who treats her like a queen?" Isabel didn't reply. She just looked at Vanessa quietly, her face worried. And in the silence that followed, Vanessa felt a tiny shiver she couldn't explain. A few months passed, and things began to change. Whenever Vanessa asked to meet Richard's family, he always had an excuse. "They travel a lot," he would say. Or, "they are very traditional, they may not understand us yet." At first, Vanessa accepted it. But as time went on, she wondered why a man so serious about her didn't want to show her to his people. Slowly, Richard also became more controlling. He started telling her what clothes were decent enough to wear. He didn't like some of her friends and told her to stop spending time with them. Even when she worked late, he complained, saying, a good woman should be home early. Vanessa began to feel trapped, though she still told herself it was love. One night, as they sat together watching TV, she noticed a long scar running across his arm. It was deep, the kind that must have come from something serious. "What happened here?" she asked softly, touching his arm. Richard quickly pulled his sleeve down and smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Oh, that. Just an old accident. Nothing to worry about." He changed the topic immediately. But Vanessa's heart wouldn't rest. Her instincts kept whispering, something isn't right. This man is hiding something. As the wedding plans went on, Vanessa's phone buzzed with a strange WhatsApp message from an unknown number. The message read, "Do not marry Richard. He is not who you think he is. Meet me if you want the truth." At first, Vanessa laughed it off. She thought it was a silly prank or maybe a jealous friend trying to ruin her happiness. But when she ignored it, more messages followed. These ones were different, they carried details no stranger could possibly know. The sender mentioned the scar on Richard's arm. They described how he always tried to control her decisions about what she wore, where she went, and even how late she worked. They even listed the exact dates of Richard's so-called business trips, dates he had only shared with her. Vanessa's heart began to race. Her curiosity grew stronger and stronger until she finally gave in. She agreed to meet the person behind the messages at a quiet restaurant across town. That evening, Vanessa sat at a corner table, her palms sweating as she waited. A few minutes later, a woman walked in. She looked to be in her early 30s, but her face carried a heaviness that made her seem older. Her skin was pale, her eyes tired, and her shoulders drooped as if weighed down by pain. The woman sat across from her and, after a long silence, introduced herself softly. "My name is Clara." Her voice shook as she continued. "I was once engaged to Richard." Her eyes fell on Vanessa's hand, where the diamond ring sparkled under the dim light. "I wore the same ring you're wearing now. He left me after I discovered the truth." Vanessa's chest tightened, her breath catching. It felt like the floor beneath her was starting to crack. Clara finally opened up and told Vanessa everything. Richard was not the successful businessman he claimed to be. He was a scammer, a man who hunted women for their money. He would win their hearts with charm, promises, and sweet words. Then, once they trusted him, he would take their savings and disappear like smoke. The scar on his arm. It wasn't from some accident, as Richard always said. Clara explained that he got it during a brutal fight with the brother of another woman he had tricked. That man had caught Richard in the act and nearly exposed him. To prove her words, Clara unlocked her phone and showed Vanessa photos. In one, Richard was smiling with another woman, his arm wrapped tightly around her shoulders. In another, he was holding a ring box, posing as though he was about to propose. Clara even scrolled through copies of wedding invitations, different names, different dates, all ceremonies Richard almost went through with but never finished. Vanessa stared at the screen, her chest tightening with every picture. The man she thought was her future was nothing but a liar. In that moment, her world shattered into pieces. Vanessa wanted the truth. She needed to know if Richard really loved her or if he was only after money. One quiet evening, as they sat across from each other at dinner, she decided to test him. Between bites, she casually said, "I just got some news. A relative of mine left me a big inheritance." The moment she said it, Richard's expression changed. His eyes lit up, almost glowing with greed. Slowly, a wide smile spread across his face, too wide, too eager. He leaned closer, his voice filled with excitement. "Wow, Vanessa. That's amazing," he said quickly. "With that kind of money, we can start big investments. We can build something huge together." Then, almost without thinking, he added, "If you transfer the money into my account, I can manage it better for us." Vanessa's heart sank like a stone. Clara had been right. Richard wasn't looking at her with love, he was looking at her like she was a prize. Still, Vanessa kept her cool. She forced a smile and nodded as if she agreed with him. But under the table, her hand slid to her phone. With one quick tap, she started recording, capturing every greedy word that fell from his mouth. The wedding day finally came. The church was bright and beautiful, decorated with flowers and ribbons. Guests filled the church, whispering with excitement. The choir sang sweetly, their voices rising like a promise of joy. Vanessa walked slowly down the aisle in her white gown. On the outside, she looked calm, graceful, and steady. But inside, her heart raced. Her hands trembled slightly as she held her bouquet. She knew the truth, and she knew this moment would change everything. When the pastor turned to her and asked, "Do you take Richard as your lawfully wedded husband?" the whole church went silent. Vanessa opened her mouth, but no words came out. She hesitated. And then, suddenly, the heavy church doors swung open. Clara rushed in, her voice sharp and trembling as she shouted, "Don't marry him. He's a fraud." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. Guests turned their necks, shocked at the interruption. Before anyone could stop her, Vanessa lifted her phone high. With a steady hand, she pressed play. Richard's voice filled the church, his greedy words about using her inheritance echoing through the speakers. The mask fell from his face. His charming smile twisted into something dark and ugly. He lunged toward Vanessa, trying to grab her hand, but security guards and furious guests rushed forward. They dragged him back, ignoring his shouts and excuses. Vanessa stood tall, tears brimming in her eyes but her spirit unbroken. The truth was finally out. The story of Vanessa teaches that not everything that shines is gold. Some people appear perfect on the outside but hide dangerous secrets. Always look beyond appearances. Also, protect your heart and your future. Don't rush into marriage because of pressure or sweet words. Take time to know who you are committing to. This story reminds us that love is not blind, it must be wise. Always listen to your instincts, pay attention to red flags, and never ignore the truth, no matter how hard it is to accept. If you found this story eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more powerful stories and life lessons. Thanks for watching.